Hey, girls and boys, it's Mr. McAndrew, the math coach. How are you doing? I just wanted to start today by quickly reviewing what you did yesterday for your word problem. So, did you figure out how long your bed is? Was it like, I don't know, like 70 something maybe? Um, yeah, so that's cool, right? Gives you a sense of how long things are, okay? And by the way, if it was 72 inches, that would be 6 feet. And if it was 60 inches, that would be 5 feet because there's 12 inches in a foot. Okay? In terms of solving this problem, you had Amy, the giant, who's 321 inches tall. And if Amy's bed is 100 inches longer than her, then how long is Amy's bed, right? So one way you could have solved it is put 321 and then you jump 100, and we're only looking at the hundreds place because we're only adding 100, so it get us to 421, right? So we added 100 to the 1 to the hundreds place. Okay, so the answer would be 421 inches. Is that what you got? Yeah, thumbs up if you did, thumbs down if you didn't. If you didn't, that's okay as long as you're paying attention right now and learning from your mistakes, because when you learn from your mistakes, you actually learn more than if you already know it, because you're actually learning stuff, right? You're learning what not to do, and then you're learning what to do. The second one says that if Amy's mom is 521 inches, how much taller is she than Amy? So again, we're comparing, right? This is a comparison. And the question is, how much taller is she, right? Is she just a little bit or a lot? Or like, well, how much? It's a tough one to think about because it's almost like what's missing, right? You can't see it, but like what's missing? How much taller is she? Okay? So there's a couple ways we could set this up. Sorry, this is the bed that I did yesterday. But we could put in, let's say we could put in, here, let me do it down here. We could put in Amy, who's 321, right? And then her mom, who's 521. And either think of it as counting up from 321, right, to get to 521, or counting down. Either way would work to find the distance between these two numbers. Okay, so if I count up, I could go 100, 200, 300 would get me to 521. Because 421, no, I'm sorry, silly, Mr. McAndrew. 200 would just get me there, because if I go 100, that gets me to 421, and then another 100 would get me to 521. Or one big hop of 200. Okay, or you could count backwards by hundreds to get to 321. All right, but you can tell just because the hundreds place is the only place that changes. The tens and ones are the same. All right, so the answer there would have been 200 inches, 200 inches taller. Okay? All right, so for today, we're going to get into a different context. We're going to leave length and get into something called volume. Does anyone know what volume means? So volume simply means how much space something takes up. Okay? Like, and it could be anything. How much volume does your body take up, right? How much volume, what's the volume of space or air inside the room I'm in right now? A lot, right? Or what's the volume of my water bottle, okay? It says if I fill it up, it's got 26 fluid ounces. So we measure volume in a variety of different ways. Today we're going to think about liquid volume, like this, okay? So how much liquid can you fill up into a container? So this would be 26 ounces. Some other things that you might be familiar with include milk, which is a gallon, right? Or a measuring cup, or a measuring whatever you call it, it's got a name, a measuring tool. For cooking, you can tell who does the cooking in my household. So here you can see some fractions, which you're going to get into, right? 1 cup. Let me make it bigger so you can see. All right, so 1 cup is 8 ounces, and then so let's say half a cup is 4 ounces, 3/4 is 6 ounces, and a 1/4 cup is 2 ounces. So ounces are, not very big, right? They're smaller than cups because 8 of them can fit into 1 cup. Okay? Let's look at the next thing I have here. All right, so boys and girls, here you can see this is another measuring cup, but this actually measures in what's called milliliters. Okay, milliliters, milliliters, something like that. Milliliters. All right, so you can see that milliliters are pretty small because you can fit this. It's hard for you to see, but this up here says 500 milliliters. ML is short for milliliter. Okay, so milliliters are very small. All right, you can fit 50 of them just into the very bottom of this glass measuring cup. Okay, in fact, if you look here, this is a water bottle, which you're probably used to seeing. Let me zoom out a spec. All right, so this is a water bottle, right, that you might see, and this is equal to 1 liter, okay, or it's equal to 1,000 milliliters. So 1 liter is the same as 1,000 milliliters. So milliliters are a lot smaller than liters, okay? And just to give you one more sense of that, you're probably used to, so here, let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. So this is a 1 liter bottle of Coca-Cola, just like the water bottle, and this is 2 liters, okay, which is much wider and a little bit taller. So you could actually fit, so this is 2 liters or 2,000 milliliters. All right, so again, milliliters are really small and liters are a lot bigger. This is 1 liter or 1,000 milliliters. Now to give you another sense, this swimming pool, right, you've probably all seen a swimming pool, or maybe you have one, or you've probably been in one, but swimming pools can become so big, they might have something like, I don't know, 30,000 liters, okay, which would be like, that would be like 30 million milliliters. Yeah, we're talking like a lot of water. Whew, all right. So we're going to be talking about volume today, all right, volume of liquid. So let's look at our word problems. All right, so let's go back to our base 10 pieces here. Let's say that we have a recipe that calls for 135 milliliters of water, okay? And then later on it says to add, okay, it says to add, let's say 220 milliliters, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. If I were to add 220, I would add 200 to the hundreds place, and I would add 2 tens to the tens place. Okay, so now I would end up with 300. Let me move my face down here. So then we would end up with 355 milliliters. Okay, because I only added 200 to the hundreds place and 2 tens to the tens place because I have 220. There's no ones to add. All right, so on our number line, it would look like this. I'm going to draw my open number line. I'm at 135, right? Now watch this. I can add now yesterday we worked on this a lot, right? So we can add 200. And I know that gets me to 335. Okay, because I'm just adding 200 to the hundreds place right here. So before I added my tens, I added my hundreds, and I had 335. Now I'm going to add my tens, which is 20. Okay, so now I've added 220. And I can see, now look here. I'm just dealing with my tens place. That goes up from 30 to 50. So now I'm going to be at 355. Okay, and that is the answer that I got. So this is another way for you to think about adding, okay, using your understanding of numbers and place value. Because that 3 became a 5 right here, right? Because we're just adding 20. 20 to the tens place. Okay, so let's take a look at our word problem and see how this can help us with that, all right? So you need to take out your Tuesday word problem number 1, all right? So do that, and then we'll work on it. All right, so you should have it out. If you need to stop the video and get it and then come on back, please do that. It says Cynthia's fish tank has 318 liters of water in it. Okay, so let's think about that. A fish tank, right, is a lot bigger than a 2-liter thing of, water or Coca-Cola, but it's not nearly as big as a pool, okay? If she adds some more water, all right? Now there are 538 liters of water. So there used to be 318, now there's 538. She added some water. How much water did Cynthia add to the fish tank? Okay, so I want you to try and figure this out. This is a more challenging type of problem, but think about it and try it and see what you get, and then I'll go over it with you. Okay? So stop the video, do your work, and then come on back. All right, boys and girls, so how did it go? Did you already try it? Okay, if you didn't, then do it now. Okay? So the way you could think about this on a number line is we could think that there's 318, right, was the amount of water that she had in the fish tank. And then she added some water. We don't know how much, but it went all the way up to 538. So we're trying to figure out the distance between 318 and 538. Okay, so we could start at 318, and now using what we've been learning, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump up 200 to get close to 538, because that gets me to 518. Because that 3 now becomes a 5. The tens and the ones place don't change. Okay, but now I'm still not at 538, but look, I'm at 518. I just need to add to the tens place to get to 538, because the 5 is the same and the 8's the same. So I think if I add 220, which is what we just did, right? If I add 20, I get to 538. So she added 220. Okay, so that's one way that you could think about solving that. All right, the next question says, in terms of an equation, you really just had 318 plus something equals 538. And that's a way that you could solve it. Okay? You could also think of it as subtraction. Right? If you think of it as subtraction, here's what it might look like. So you could have 538 minus 318. So that means you're finding the difference between these two. So if I hop back 100, that gets me to 438. Another 100 gets me to 338. Okay, so I've taken away 200, but I still have to go 20 more. I can see that if I take away 20, that gets me down to 318. That 3 becomes a 1. So again, you've taken away 220. So that's still your answer, okay? All right, we don't have much time left, boys and girls. Try the next one. If there are 687 liters of water in the tank and she takes out 220 liters, how much is left? I like that number 220, don't I? All right, go ahead. So guys, it's the same idea. If you haven't tried it already, set it up like this and try it, okay? But it's the same idea. 687, take away 200. Brings me down, we're just looking at the hundreds place, that gets me to 487. And then if I have to subtract another 20, I'm just looking at the tens place, so that would get me down to 467. Right? Take away 2 tens and I have 6 tens. Okay? So the next one is very similar to this one. All right, good luck. I'll see you soon, boys and girls. Bye-bye.